There's an old poster out west, as I recall, that said, "Wanted, dead or alive."
Osama bin Laden is dead, and justice has been done.
Our country has kept its commitment to see that justice is done. The world is safer. It is a better place because of the death of Osama bin Laden.
And as the country breathes a collective sigh of relief over the death of Osama bin Laden, we must not forget that al-Qaeda remains very much a threat today, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton emphasized that earlier today.
Because even as we mark this milestone, we should not forget that the battle to stop al-Qaeda and its syndicate of terror will not end with the death of bin Laden. Indeed, we must take this opportunity to renew our resolve and redouble our efforts.
And joining me now with reaction is the man who led the campaign against the Taliban in Afghanistan after the 9/11 attacks, former CENTCOM Commander General Tommy Franks. General, welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us, sir.
Thanks a lot, Sean. Great to be with you.
What a great day. I'm sure this has special meaning for you in particular.
I think it has a special meaning for all of us. I think what we see going on around the world is not only a celebration, it's a recognition of the resolve of a great country, a great republic. We live in a great country, and what we saw last night is a result of that fact, Sean.
You know, isn't maybe one of the big lessons that the world gets out of this is that if you kill Americans, we're going to hunt you down, we are going to find you. We don't care if it takes days, weeks, months, years, or less than a decade. But we're going to find you, we're going to bring you to justice. Isn't that hopefully a message that is going to be received?
I think that is a message that that's going to be received, Sean. I think the fact of the matter is that they call America a superpower for a reason. We saw the result of America's superpower last night. We saw very brave young men working with some wonderful intelligence people do what George W. Bush said almost 10 years ago was going to be done. However long it takes, there's no place to run, there's no place to hide. We will get you. And we saw the result of that last night.
General, as we get the story, we don't have the complete story yet, and I'm looking forward to even more of the details as they emerge, but this was an extraordinarily gutsy and dangerous mission. From your perspective, having been there, what do you think of the way this was planned and put together? How dangerous was this for these guys?
Sean, well, for a fact, it was very dangerous, and I guess as I've thought about it, one of the things that we all need to do is we need to give the commander-in-chief due credit for having taken a really tough decision in the absence of 100% guarantee that mission was going to succeed. I have high respect for President Obama for having done that. But you know, the fact of the matter is that it's the guys on the ground. It's the intelligence services. It's in the middle of the night. It's guys who have to travel a long ways. They have to get the work done in a hurry. And these troopers did that. And I have great respect for them. I have had great respect for them, and I think the world saw their capability last night. Yeah,
I think America did see their incredible, I mean, just incredible story of what they've done, an incredibly dangerous situation. Let me ask you this. The intelligence was key. We always had the means to take out Osama bin Laden. Nobody disputes that. We have the greatest military force. Right. As you know, you've commanded these brave men and women. But it was always the intelligence that was key. It seems the early reporting is that either rendition, Poland, Romania, or somewhere, or Gitmo, that they were able to find people around Osama bin Laden, in this case a courier. And the courier, then we had to find from an alias and a nickname to find the identity. That was in 2007. Then they worked through the pieces to bring us to this ultimate conclusion yesterday here. Does that mean the country needs to debate again the issue of enhanced interrogation and rendition?
Sean, I'll say the same thing tonight that I said when this was very much in the news, and that is I think America stands against torture, but I can also tell you that it's the duty, it's the job of the President of the United States to protect our country, to protect our citizens. And what I would not like to see is I would not like to see executive authority removed from the President. The President's got to make these kinds of decisions, and I'd like to see him retain that power.
Yeah, well, I do think the gutsiest part of the president's decision, and I have not been the biggest fan of him, was the fact that he could have dropped a 2,000-pound bomb on this house, but we may never have known if we got Osama bin Laden. And I think the idea that we sent these troops in, we needed confirmation, I think that was pretty gutsy. But the question is, if we found out that enhanced interrogation gave us the intelligence so our guys could do the job, do we need to, as a country, go back and look at that debate? That seems to be very crucial to me.
Sean, I believe that as a result of the takedown of bin Laden, the country will go through that process. As we come to understand more about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and about where the information that led to this takedown actually came from, I think we may well find that the nation will once again come to have a debate on this particular subject, and I think that's just fine.
And you think it's fine. But you personally, you support it, General, if I may ask?
What I support is that one step at a time, Sean, one mission at a time, that the Commander-in-Chief make the decisions that America holds him responsible to make, and then those decisions are executed by our great intel people and our great armed forces.
We've been discussing a little bit earlier tonight the issue. Senator Graham has been somewhat critical of the sea burial, and he said it might be sensitivity gone too far. We know that as it relates to, in accordance with Islamic law, that Osama bin Laden was dumped in the sea before 24 hours were up. He was cleaned. His body was wrapped in white sheets. Do you think we might have been better off saving the body of bin Laden and not worry about sensitivity, considering he wasn't exactly sensitive to the 3,000 Americans killed on 9/11 and other attacks that he took part in?
Sean, my personal view is that we're well served by dumping his body in the sea. I believe that it's going to be very, very difficult for those who would adore him and praise him to gather at his gravesite, and that suits me just fine.
All right, General Tommy Franks, great American hero, sir, and a great day for the United States military yesterday, and our Navy SEALs deserve our great respect and appreciation. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
All right, and let not your heart be troubled. A very special Great American panel is coming up next. Family members of 9/11 victims, they will join us coming up next. Straight ahead. All right, you're looking live at Ground Zero, where people continue to gather following the death of Osama bin Laden. And joining me with reaction to this very special Great American panel that we have put together, he was a 9/11 FDNY fire department first responder and survivor. Tim Brown is here. His 23-year-old son, James, was killed on the 103rd floor of the World Trade Center. He's the president of 9/11 Families for a Secure America. Peter Gadiel is here, and her brother, Charles, was the pilot of hijacked Flight 77 that was flown into the Pentagon on 9/11. Our good friend, Deborah Burlingame, back with us. Guys, good to see you all. And you know, this for me is a really special panel to have you here, because you guys, you wake up every morning, loved ones gone, and I just wanted to know how you felt when you heard the news yesterday.
Well, it was emotional, to say the least. I felt a great moral victory for this country, immense pride in our troops that pulled this operation off, and then I thought of my brother. Because, you know, Chick was a military guy. He did a lot of dangerous flying off carrier decks, and he would have been very proud. But he would have been so angry at what they did to his passengers and crew, and he would have so wanted to be in this fight. And so it took me back to that horrible day, and it juiced me up, frankly, because we're in for a long fight, Sean. And this was a good shot on the arm of morale for the American people. Yeah.
Well, I agree that it is a boost for our morale. It restores some of the luster of this country as a can-do nation. You know, I appreciate the celebration that I've seen around the country today. I can't really join because my son is not coming back, but I certainly appreciate the emotions of people who are out there celebrating and chanting USA. I agree that, you know, we're in for a long haul here, and I'm certainly pleased that this monster is dead.
I was stunned at the announcement when I heard it. It's an emotional roller coaster. I've spoken with a lot of the families and the first responders today. In 1 minute, there's some elation. The next minute, you're in tears. But Jill Regan, who lost her dad, firefighter Donnie Regan from Rescue 3, a friend of mine, summed it up best, I think, when she said, mixed feelings, roller coaster.
By the way, you brought this poster in with you. I want to make sure you explain that to me.
Yeah, these are the 343 New York City firefighters who were brutally murdered in a plot put together by Osama bin Laden. But Jill said that all she really wants is her dad back through her tears. So I think that's the general feeling of the families. And
you know, you lost your son, you lost your brother, all these, everyone, I would assume the vast majority of these guys, you know, here, these buildings, everyone knows the risk that they may fall down. Everyone can see what's happening. They're helping people out of the building. They go up when everyone else is racing down. It tells you a lot about people, you know, and the strength. And one of the things that I remember at 9/11, you know, on 9/11 and the days after is that, you know, these stories of heroics, including your brother, you know, and your son, and Todd Beamer's son, and you know, all these people that, you know, laid down their lives. And in that sense, this miserable, evil son of a bitch got what he deserved.
Well, Sean, you know, I was happy to see people going to Ground Zero in the wee hours of the morning because, you know, that memorial's opening this year, and there's going to be a museum down there under, you can't see it now, but it's going to tell all those stories. And I'm thrilled that we're not only going to hear in future generations the story of what happened on 9/11, but the aftermath, who we are as a nation, the triumph of decency over depravity is going to be told long after we're gone.
And Deborah, we got to learn the lessons of history.
Yeah.
Or else we're doomed to repeat it.
It's true, but we have to know what the history is, though.
True, an accurate history.
Right.
All right, when we come back, I want to ask both of you about the burial at sea, because I don't think he deserved it. I agree with Lindsey Graham, who will be on this program tomorrow. And similarly, I want to ask about whether or not it was a mistake, maybe not to get rid of the body so fast, and should they release the pictures. We'll continue more with our special Great, Great, Great American panel coming up next.
This is America. We rise to the challenge, we persevere, and we get the job done.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
And we continue now with our Great, Great American panel. Let me ask you about what has since happened. According to, in accordance with Islamic law, bin Laden, his body was taken out. They haven't released the photos yet, and was cleaned, wrapped in linen. There was a service on the aircraft carrier, and he was dumped in the sea. Right decision? Wrong decision?
I don't have a big opinion on that. I think that what is more important is that the Navy SEALs didn't miss. They took care of business, and he is gone. He's in the place where he belongs, and you know, I'm glad there's not going to be a memorial to him.
No, I agree with that. I'm not sure if the timing was right. And what Lindsey Graham said, sensitivity taken too far. I'm just curious how you feel.
I'd agree with that. This is political correctness gone wild. I mean, the man deserved nothing.
Nothing.
But being tossed into the sea.
Would it be better to show his body to the world, to every two-bit low-life terrorist, that this is your future? We're going to hunt you down, and if it takes a decade, we're going to get you, and we're going to kill you, and you're going to get a bullet in your head.
Do you know how valuable it would be to show a picture of a dead Osama bin Laden with a look of absolute terror on his face? I think that would be, you talk about how this was a morale boost for our country, how demoralizing that would be to the would-be shaheeds that want to die. You know, Osama bin Laden at the end of the day was a coward. He hid behind his wife in the last moments of his life. He sends children out to detonate themselves in suicide bombs. Everybody else to do his dirty work, his dirty blood work. So I think it would be inappropriate. And by the way, there's a precedent for it. Remember when Zarqawi was killed in Iraq, the commander on the field in Iraq, very vicious killer. They showed his body. They showed the Saddam's sons. The world will not come to an end.
Of Saddam.
Yes, and remember,
we're pretty tough. We can handle it.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I think people would applaud it. The more gruesome, the better.
Yes, and these people come from a place in the world where beheadings are done, okay? So it's not like they are precious either.
I think the political correctness side of it, though, is that, well, this may anger those people that hate our guts already, and I don't see how we can make them any more angry because they're fanatical, already.
Well, I'm tired of trying to get into their heads and what will make them happy. Let's make them get into our heads now. Let's go on the offensive. I mean, I want to say to President Obama, do you see how successful this is when you get up and move forward and get aggressive? I mean, what are you prepared to do, man?
Yeah.
Let's go back to interrogating. Let's press these people.
Is that what you wanted to tell President Obama? And I'll ask all of you the same question. We're running out of time. Is that what you would want to tell him?
Yes.
Because especially if this led to the courier that was surrounding, and we didn't find this guy until 2007. We got it through enhanced interrogations or interrogating. Then they found the real identity. Then they found the guy, which led to this. So without strong interrogations, we wouldn't be here.
Yes, I'd say lucky for you, sir, that President Bush didn't get Gitmo closed.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, but I don't think his heart is in this. I think his efforts to close Gitmo over the last few years show his true political colors.
And enhanced interrogation.
And enhanced, right, exactly.
Yeah, he's running for re-election now, so I'm not sure you're going to get him to move on that. It's vitally important that we have an appropriate interrogation technique to keep gleaning this information. And a perfect example just occurred yesterday.
All right. Well, I know this can't bring back your loved ones, 93 of your fellow firemen and your son, but thank you for being here. That's all the time we have left. Greta's next. See you tomorrow.